Welcome to the Ladies TalkShow. This is your host, Leah Richeimer. Thank you so much for being here. We have an incredible show today. Mistakes you do not want to make in marriage. Okay, I'm getting a lot of emails about people who are having these control issues. So here we are, and I'm getting a lot of emails saying that they are in control of everything in their life, right? So how do they stop being in control when it comes to their husband? It's a very good question. So what we talked about last week in terms of being in control is that the more control we have, the less connection we have. And why that might be fine, grocery shopping and, getting, your things repaired and getting things taken care of and interfacing with somebody in a medical, a doctor's office or whatever, and you want to be in control and you want to have that kind of strength and power. So now comes to your husband, you're like, whatever you say, dear, okay. Not so easy. I get it. But there's different payoffs. So the payoff for being in control everywhere in your life is that things tend to go smoother because you're taking responsibility for it. Some things you should let go. Maybe we all could do a little bit less micromanaging. But when it comes to your husband, you can just guarantee, this is like you can always say, if you are micromanaging your husband, you're not connecting with him. So yes, he might love the fact that you're telling him, oh, did you remember to do this? And don't forget to put it goes on the bottom shelf. Maybe you got the kind of guy who, in kindergarten, he was the one who the teacher always had to say, no, your backpack goes in the cubby. Okay? Maybe you got that guy and good luck. And then you can tell him if he likes it. But for the most part, this kind of micromanaging, every time it gives a lack of connection, a lack of closeness. So let's go to the homework. This has been, please send more emails, more questions, because when you have an issue that you want addressed and I talk about it, then you get your question answered, and I bet you there's a million other people who also had the same question. Okay, latest secret of the day from last week. The more control we give up, the more connected we are. Hello, what is that? Okay. We're in, there we go. Okay, so the homework for the week, last week, was notice when you're trying to control your husband and zip your lip one time this week. Okay, so let's see who was able to do the homework. Everyone's looking away, whatever. Okay.
Well, was it only when you were trying to control or when you also just trying to zip your lip? Just to zip your lip.
Well, it was, okay,
because I have two.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually 3 times I did it this week, but 2 of them that stand out in my mind. One of them was there's 2 times that I just don't want people talking to me. If you see me doing these 2 things, these 2 activities, don't come and talk to me. Don't look at me. Leave me in my own zone. One of them is praying. When I sit down to daven to pray, I don't want, if you see me with a prayer book in my hands, a siddur, don't come near me. That means I'm in another zone. I don't want to be distracted.
God, that's it.
I'm not perfect at it. I'm far from it. I'm very distracted. So that's why I don't want an extra distraction, and that's my own sort of thing. And number 2 is when I'm exercising, when I'm on my spin bike. I can't breathe. I can't even think. I want to I'm cranky.
You're
in
the least place you would like to be
I want
at
to
the
hurt
moment.
everyone because I don't even want to be on it now.
Okay.
And the last thing I want is for anyone to bother me. And of course, it just seems that my husband just loves to come and talk to me while I'm on my bike. And I've said it. I really have. I've sat and I said, when I'm on my bike, it's really hard for me to breathe and it's really hard for me to think. And then you ask me questions and I get and I can't hear what she's saying. It's a whole, and this week he came and he starts talking to me and
so wait a second. Well, how about a big sign?
Oh God, I'm telling you, with lights, with flashing lights.
A sign.
Do not talk to me right now.
Right.
And I literally, I'm telling you, all that was playing through my head as he's talking, I didn't hear a word he said to me because all that was playing through my head was zip your lip, zip your lip, zip your lip, zip your lip, and I'm like,
Oh, but you couldn't say, oh, honey, I got.
No, because I'll tell you something, because I can't even speak like that. I would snap because I'm in that full of adrenaline, everything's pumping, when you're just everything is And I was so proud that I zipped my lip and didn't say anything. But then, so that wasn't so much a control thing. But then today, and I was like laughing how perfect
You can
for
come
the class
sit around
today.
here if you want to be more comfortable. Here.
Yeah, today, this morning, we took the kids to a doctor's appointment, and we got out of the driveway, and look at that, he actually made the right turnaround by Highland. I think he knows already that he better do the right turnaround and not take the wrong way. And we start driving, and we're driving, not saying a word, and I'm great, I'm totally in my zone.
This
And
is after the incident with the spinning
yes,
top,
oh my
okay,
God,
so you're in the
this
car.
is,
okay.
a couple, like
Okay.
2-3 days later.
Okay.
This is this morning. And we're driving, and then we're going to Robertson, and, like right after Beverly. And I see we're driving on Wilshire. We're like totally driving down Wilshire. And of all places, Wilshire. Who drives on Wilshire in the morning?
Oh, you mean
who
it's
drives
a
on Wilshire
total-
ever? Okay? Because it is always trafficy.
Okay.
And I'm holding not saying a word, and I'm thinking we really have to be there because we didn't have an appointment. They were just sick, and you can come in at you have like a certain window that you could come in
Sick
early.
child appointment.
Exactly,
Yeah, I got it.
without
Okay.
making an appointment. So I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, okay, we're already 10 minutes past that point, and every minute, and literally, of course, it's packed with traffic. Not just, buses like you wouldn't believe, and everyone is at a standstill, and I'm not saying a word, and mind you, I'm literally looking out the window so I don't strangle him as he's driving, and I'm like, okay, zip your lip, what does God want from me right now? Peace, zip your lips. And then he obviously sees, and he's sort of like, he knows me well. So he's sitting there and he goes, usually this street moves much quicker. And I'm holding back because I'm about to say, usually when does it drive?
Right.
At 3 a.m. when there's no cars on the street, when does it go quicker? Fine. Then he sees me sort of keep looking out the window, and he goes, I can't go into that right lane, even if that's what you're thinking I should do, because that's a bus lane.
That's hysterical.
And I'm thinking, no, that's not what I want you to do. I want you to fly over these cars, but I'm not saying, I'm like, no, whatever you're doing is, fine.
But your steam is coming out your ear.
Oh, no joke.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So we keep driving, and finally we get to literally the end of Wilshire and San Vicente, and he decides that's it. He's done with this. Wilshire is not working. So he turns off and goes off and gets us onto Burnway, which would be more of the place that I would be taking. But of course, as we get towards Robertson, which we need to turn off by Burnway, we need to make the left. The left has 20 cars literally waiting. It's going out the line. And he's like, oh. And so he drives past Robertson. So now we have to turn off on the next street. And of course, as he turns off onto the next street, there's a small little car, one of those smart cars that's tiny, that could get through anything, and is stopping like every 3 seconds.
So I don't understand the point.
It was meaning it was a mess.
It was a disaster.
Every way he took.
But that's not his fault.
No, it is his fault, because if he would have gone the way he should have in the beginning, if he would have gone the normal way, which is not go to Wilshire and not run off on Burn over there and do it all the way I do it, which takes me 10 minutes and not a half hour, we would have been there. I kept quiet the entire time.
Why was he driving?
Right. I know. You know what? By the way, guess what, Leah? Guess what? Very smart. You know what he says to me?
What?
As we're sitting in front of this little smart car that's not going, he's like, you really should have driven. And I'm like thinking, and I didn't say, yes, I should have, honey. I said nothing. I was like, no, I laughed a little bit. I'm like, no, you're fine. Anyways, we get there. I get to my appointment, fine. I leave. We drive back home. And he decides to take Melrose, thank God, which is the normal way to go back out, because it's even with its craziness, it's until 11 o'clock, Melrose is dead. Until 10, 11, no one's on Melrose.
Okay.
So nothing's open, so no one's on there. So we drive, and as we're driving, he says, wow, look how empty Melrose is. And I'm like saying nothing, and he goes,
You mean, because that would have been the way you would have come.
Of
like,
course.
hello.
Couldn't you have said, well, that's what I usually do?
No, wait, guess what? Wait, I didn't. I actually didn't say anything. He says, okay, I'm too much. And then he goes, oh, maybe it's just because we're going in the other direction. But he hears me laugh at that point, and I was like, I just started laughing. So he knows me so well. So he's like, okay, maybe it's because I took the most retarded way. And I'm like, that's right, honey. No, I said, no, I would never say that. I said, but you kind of did take a very strange route to the doctor's office.
Okay, so this last week's homework is playing into this week's homework, this week's class, which is mistakes.
Oh, good. Because
Sorry.
I
Burned,
the
sorry.
entire drive. I just want to let you know.
Okay.
But I just, excuse me.
Oh, wait, hold
but
on,
I
wait,
just
no,
want
you-
you to tell her something. The reason why it was empty and you were making time is because you kept your mouth shut and you got the blessing.
Yeah, maybe.
There you
Because
go.
I actually
There
think
you
it's always empty over there, but that's okay. No, no, this time I actually
But-
didn't clearly see the
So hold
blessing.
on,
The
but
only
you
blessing was
did
that I didn't yell at him.
you did zip your lip the whole
the
time.
whole time,
Okay.
Leah.
So
The
10
whole time, and I
gold
had
stars.
101 comments
Yay,
to tell
woo!
him.
Okay.
Like really, I had a
So
couple.
okay,
of
so
choice
so
words.
first of all, this is gold star. I didn't mean to say mistake. I was kind of
No,
just
no, but it
teasing a
is,
little.
yeah,
But here you weren't making a mistake of how you behaved to him. You were a superstar. You hear this? Superstar. Superstar.
Yes.
In how you behaved.
Right. But I was,
Where your mistake was.
yes,
is in
I,
your
I agree because I was not in a happy
forehead.
place in my head.
Yeah,
I was annoyed
like
the entire
no. Don't you feel
time.
sorry for her?
Yes. I
Like
was
what she
annoyed.
was dealing with
The
and
entire
what she was
time.
working with, and it's avoidable.
Yeah.
That self-torture, that's self-torture, ladies.
It
Self-torture
Yeah. It was.
is, and it's not the circumstance that made it torture. It is what's going on in your
For
head.
sure, because I did not enjoy that ride at all, and I wanted just, I wanted to crawl.
So
out
were
of
there
that
kids
car.
in the car?
My little ones,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
didn't say any word. I was
Okay.
quiet.
Okay. So no. So here's the thing: is that you get 10 gold stars for the
Keeping quiet.
Keeping quiet.
Yeah.
The issue of having a mental headset game with ourselves. You can play mental games with yourself. Sometimes the hardest part of the day is just dealing with the day. You know, what am I thinking? What am I thinking about myself? Am I, great person, little person? That thinking, what goes on between our ears, we have control over. I know it doesn't seem like it. Okay, but we have many sources that say the most important thing is introspection and being able to plan out ways to manage these types of situations. So I'll give you an example. Sarit's sitting there, right? And she looks at her clock, and whatever it is, it's 8 o'clock, and they have to be there at 8:15 in order to get the thing. And now it's 8:25. Okay, so it's 8:25 in the car. They're 10 minutes past the time they had to be there. There's not a chance they're going to make it at this point.
Right.
No, you're not making it.
No.
And there's no way that you're thinking about what you could have done, should have done, whatever, would make any difference to the current situation. Maybe for the future, and maybe there's a conversation that can be had with your husband about you driving or about whatever. But also you have to understand, here's one thing. Women get so mad because when they're in the passenger seat, their husband is so terrible driving and they want to say something. They don't realize when you're sitting in the driver's seat, your perspective of where the cars is way over there, all the parked cars. When you plunk down over here, you are, every car's like as if your side view mirror is going to hit the thing. It's because your perspective has changed, not because if you were sitting there, he'd be the same thing. You're just not used to being over there. And that's the same thing here. It's the exact same thing. You have a perspective right now. When you are driving, it's 8:25. Nothing you do is going to make a difference.
You have to let go. It was from last week again, the same idea. Like, once you decide that you're not going to say anything, you have to just say, you know what, it's up to God. I'm done. I did my thing.
Right.
I'm letting go. And
That's
then
the
you'll
hardest thing is to
Right.
take.
Just to
I
let
could
go.
keep I could say, okay, I'm gonna zip my lip, but then I'm so up here in my head space. I'm so
So it's
just
the next level.
wound
It's the
up
next-
and annoyed.
It's the next place to
Yeah.
get to. And we all backtrack and don't get there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying every time you do it, if you get to that level, then you're good for life. There will still be things, you'll be tested again and again. And it's like in a video game, you get to a certain level and now all the little monsters get, and then all of a sudden now they're shooting at you from the side and, doing all these other things. So, great to see you. In that moment, who are you going to be? Are you going to be that woman who's just like, "Ugh," and he read you.
Oh, he read me.
He totally read
Oh
you.
God, it's unreal. He read me. He was
And
trying to
it's
come.
bad body language. And I'm sure 90% of him reading you was, she's not saying anything. That's unbelievable. Like, how could she not say?
You said you were laughing.
No, just at the end.
At
The
the
whole
end.
time I was looking away from him. I couldn't even look at him because I was afraid if I look at him, something's
You'd
gonna
snap.
So I kept looking out the window like this the whole time. My neck is like this. That's why I kept thinking maybe I want him to move into the next lane.
But the issue is, like she says, it's a question of letting go. But here, there's something even more powerful that you can think of. Everything works different for everybody, so you have to figure out what works for yourself. Have you ever seen like a pile of money, like $100 bills just piled up over there? Hundreds.
No, but
everyone's
please.
nodding their
Yeah,
head.
we're shaking our heads, but please tell us where we can find that. I need to see that visual reel.
The visual reel, right? So just imagine this, literally a pile. Like if you had taken, 10 bankers' boxes full of $100 bills and piled them up there, and there's just like this mound in front of you of $100 bills. This is what is a fraction of what you're earning by zipping your lip, both in this world and in the next world, meaning your eternity that you are earning by keeping the peace in the marriage is what is at stake here. That's what you can earn by doing that. So if you think, but that's too, that's too airy-fairy, woo-woo, spiritual world, whatever. It happens to be the reality. What we can relate to is when you're in that situation, your head's about to bust, think about the destination that when you arrive at the doctor's office, that there's a pile of $100 bills sitting there waiting for you.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know if that'll
No,
help
no,
you.
oh, no.
But
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh, what, me?
Like, yeah. But I'm just saying, playing games with ourselves to be our best selves. It's so awesome. It's like if you knew that your action, that if you got through it, you had that money waiting for you, that is one powerful tool. Another tool you could do, you could sit there and say, this is really a disaster, okay? What are the consequences? And play it out for yourself. Like, what is the worst that's going to happen? It's like sometimes we make ourselves crazy. Yeah, if I don't order, the Amazon, sometimes it says, if you order in the next, 1 hour and 37 minutes, and then you get a phone call, and you're like, what is going to happen? It's going to come on Friday instead of Thursday, or it's going to come on Monday instead of Friday, or whatever it is. That's what the consequences are. And if you can, in your mind, think of what's the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. You're getting to the office, and you'll get to the doctor's office at 8:35, and they'll say, "Lady, we close at 8:15 for sick appointments or whatever it is. Ain't going to happen." You'll have wasted the whole drive there. You'll have wasted the whole drive back. You won't get the care that you need. I hear. In the scale of things, closeness to my husband or getting to the doctor's office on time. I'm just giving you some tricks to play with yourself so that you can ratchet yourself down and get over this whole thing. We're talking about micromanagement. That's what we've been working on. And now we're talking about mistakes we make. So that's another tool. I want to hear from you. Any other tools that you can think of? Yeah.
I was thinking of a trick also that, so you're already stuck in a situation where it's too late, like you were saying. So then, just give up the control, which is very hard to do.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. That's what God wanted.
If
you really believe it, everything happens really is not in our control. We think we control everything. We control zero.
Yeah.
And if we know that really deep down, then everything is so much easier.
Right, and for her, the logistics might be either she should drive or she should say, when they sit down in the car, say, I know Melrose. Oh, I remember the point I was going to make. Remember when I said that, okay, I'm going to forget again, about what sitting in the car. Okay, is the fact that you know your neighborhood, this neighborhood, about 1,000 times better than our husbands. We know our neighborhood better. We're there more. I mean, it could be the opposite. He's a stay-at-home guy, and she's the corporate executive flying in a jet. Totally could happen, whatever. And maybe, a lot of people it happens with it, whatever. But for the most part, women who are doing the majority of carpools in this country, I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just telling it like it is. Huh? It's reality. The women know, never take that right there. There's not a crossover light over there. We know our neighborhoods. And we're so livid at our husband for not knowing the neighborhoods, but be happy he doesn't know the neighborhood because he's off at work, hopefully. Okay, so that was the point I wanted to make. Okay, wait, we're in the middle of you were giving us another trick.
A little bit of a different route to go in my head, because sometimes, letting go of the control, that's a great aspiration, but sometimes it's hard when you're sitting there and, you're looking out the window because you have a speech rolling in your head that you want to say, because I find that very often happens, that you're preparing the speech that you want to give, but you're holding back.
That's funny.
So might help to also just think, as you're thinking of all the things you want to say and how we could have avoided this and how you should have avoided this and how we could have done it this way and how next time we should do it that way, just to think like, right, so you have to let go of control, because at this point you've already missed whatever it is you're missing, or you've already, like, it's a done deal. So think, okay, so if I give my speech, like, what's the end result that I want to achieve? Because, you know,
Wait, that's awesome. You hear this? What's the end result we want to achieve?
and sometimes
That
even
can
while you're
get
preparing
you out of
the
your
speech
head.
in your head and you're fuming, you can still have the clarity of mind to think, what's the end result I want to achieve? And is
Fantastic.
my speech, which I have so eloquently prepared in my head and have all these perfect words of delivery, and it's so going to drive the point home now, is that going to get me where I want to go, or it's really not? And that sometimes just helps you. It's not necessarily the highest madriga of doing it, but it really does help you think that, okay, I'm fine swallowing my perfectly prepared speech, because it really isn't gonna, you know, like they
Forward
say,
the motion.
it'll make me the winner, but then I'll also be the loser, you know, like.
Right, you win
What's
the
that
battle
saying?
and lose the war.
Right,
Yeah, 100%.
right.
That's a
So-
fantastic tool. It's good. Who else?
There's another one, and that
Okay,
is the Gamzalatova approach. When you're sitting in
Translate
traffic, right? It's all for the best, meaning you don't know what you're saved from taking a different route. Sometimes when we sit in traffic, we could be saved for. Sitting in traffic is fairly safe, you know,
So true.
versus zipping around on Olympic at 60 miles
Well,
an
it was safe
hour.
for me, not for my husband.
Right.
He was in a lot of danger of getting hurt. Physically. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I totally hear you. You know, I was thinking of like the fact that the car self-drives. I'm like, can I make it self-drive if I push him out? I wonder if that would work.
hello.
I think about that often because when my children drive, I like when they're sitting in traffic because I feel that they are safer and slow
Yeah.
in
You have to go
traffic.
slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one game that I used to play with myself is like when someone, I used to get, I think I've told this before, I was taught to drive by somebody who was just yelled at everybody, like, rolled up. That's how they do. So I thought that's how you drove. I didn't know any better, So, but, and then it took me a couple years of, I'm going to have some baby sitting in the back seat. Who do I want to be? What mom do I want to be? It took me really a long time to get there. But anyways, but when someone was cut me off, one of my tools that I use there is by saying, oh, now I'm slower down. I'm going to get there 2 minutes later because of this bozo who just cut me off. But maybe there was a car crash about to happen. There was somebody who just went through a red light, 5 blocks from here that I would have hit. And so God sent this person to slow me down. It's so gorgeous because, it's like you don't know what's going on in the world. You don't know what factors are out there. And by using that and by saying, oh, this must have happened for a reason, just like you're saying, must have happened for a reason, that's another good tool. Okay, any other tools? Ideas? Okay, all right. So that was fantastic homework. You get 10 gold stars for zipping your lip. That was the homework, so you won that.
Right.
So now, next level,
Bump it up.
work on your head. Okay, fantastic. We're going to start with marriage mistakes you don't want to make. So I'm going to tell 3 stories, and then we're going to look at what these stories have in common, and then we're going to give our sources for how to deal with these and some tools. That's our agenda here. Okay. So the first story is there's a family at a playground, right? It's a typical thing. They stroll over with their double stroller, and they have the baby, and they have a little toddler. And the husband and the wife sit on a little bench. The mommy takes out the baby, and the husband takes the toddler to go play in the jungle gym. This does not end well, okay? So can a husband watch a kid on a jungle gym? So here's what happened. He goes and watches on the jungle gym while he's also checking the baseball scores, right? Or the football scores or whatever. Baseball, okay, yeah, right now especially. Okay, so he comes back with a bloody lip, obviously. End of the world? Yes, no? To a mom, yes? Comes back, the mom sees the bloody kid, lifts them up into her arm, the baby's, the toddler's crying and whatever, and I'm taking these off so I can give the proper look. Here's the look that she gives to her husband. Wait, let me do this mean. I should have practiced this in the mirror. Wait, that looks like too jokey. Like really wicked, like that. Really, really nasty. Like, what kind of a parent are you? What kind of a father are you? How could you do such a thing? So what mistakes were made here?
He's not going to do it again.
Very good.
She probably won't want him to do it.
She probably won't want him to do it again. Okay, what else?
Maybe he won't look at his phone again when he's watching the toddler. I don't know.
Maybe he won't look at his phone again. Good luck with that one. Okay, okay, what else? What mistakes?
Well, she's forgetting his. She's not considering his viewpoint. He obviously
She
didn't
didn't
want
even
that
ask
to
what
happen.
happened. She just gave him a dirty look. Like, hello.
Even if she knew what happened, obviously the father didn't want that to happen to the kid. It wasn't like this was his plan. You know?
That's right. That's right. So the issue here is that she is completely blaming him. Whether a man is capable of watching a child or a grandchild or whatever on the jungle gym without something happening, you know, I mean, did she make a mistake of having too high expectations?
No,
No,
come on.
no,
That's-
these things happen.
Hello,
yeah.
come on. Let's give the guys a little credit here.
Let's give the guys a little credit. Okay, good. Yeah.
It could have happened with her watching him too.
It could have happened with her
Without
too.
looking at the phone, they fall.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it
Right?
could have happened to her
Right.
too. Yeah.
That's
They could've-
exactly right.
They could have. He could have fallen. You know.
Yeah.
I'm saying she didn't
Without
ask what
looking at the
happened.
phone.
She didn't ask. She didn't
You
ask
can't
anything.
prevent
She doesn't
it
know what
whether you're
happened.
looking
No,
at the phone or not. It's gonna.
Totally. Yeah.
So I have to say, you know, I witnessed this, and she totally didn't ask him what happened or whatever.
Yeah, but by the way, even that comment, she'd ask him what
Right.
happened. So
But
what
we
difference
still
would it
knew.
make? He would say, "Oh yeah, honey, I was on my phone and was not looking at our child. Or I saw her guy in the jungle." What did you
See, I was on my phone.
I don't know. I
like,
didn't see. Or he's
oh,
gonna
I
make
thought,
up
yeah,
something.
no.
Oh, he just.
Maybe another kid was coming down and kicked him in the lip. That's
No, then the father would
I
come
don't
in
know.
with like a,
No,
oh my
no,
God,
it's not true. You don't know that.
no.
Yeah. So
No,
she,
I don't-
in this
I
case,
think
I
I
get
mean,
what you're saying.
know.
That comment
Even-
alone could be an attack.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah,
right.
like what happened? That's what
Yeah,
happened. Yeah,
That's a
that's
good point.
yeah.
That's a good
yeah.
point. But also the thing was the point of the story actually isn't that he was watching on his cell phone. You know, that would just happen to be what was the truth. But that doesn't. You know, it could have totally happened, like you're saying, that those things can happen. But I can't even tell you. He was trying to connect with her. He was trying to say, you know, it was he was trying. And she was like physically, bodily language, taking the kid like this and
Right.
like not
you
listening
don't deserve
to
to be a
you
father.
don't.
Yeah.
What did you
You're
say?
evil.
Say that again.
Like you don't deserve to be a father.
And what did you say?
You're evil.
You're evil.
Yeah.
What?
She was unapproachable.
She was unapproachable,
Trying
and
to-
he just
Yeah.
wanted nothing, whatever. And she's and he's following her, and she's kind of storming away, you know, sort of hovering around where the carriage was, where the baby was, whatever. But I was like, really? Like, really? That's what your life is? That's how you treat the love of your life, the father of your two babies? Okay, maybe he's a dummy, and maybe he's made a mistake, and you know, what? I get it. You're going to torture a guy. Now, my thinking as I'm sitting there, you know, my clocks are turning, I'm like, she's not getting, here's something he did that's obviously dumb and, you know, deserves punishment if it was his stupidity, okay? These things happen, as you said, right? They happen. But she was punishing him. How does it get the crime doesn't fit
Right.
what is it? The
Yeah.
crime doesn't fit the
No,
the
the
punishment
punishment
doesn't fit the punishment did not fit the crime. So I'm conjuring in my head what else did he do? Like he's not listening to her, she's trying to control him, he's doing nothing, he can't do anything right. Nothing right. So all of that, when he did do something that she could get him back for in an emotional drama situation where the kids wailing or whatever, she's going to let him have it. Oh boy, is she going to let him have it.
Or she's having a bad day. And like that was like, you know what I'm saying? It could be she's having one of the, remember we discussed that, you know, sometimes we have bad days and like.
They were allowed to have
yeah,
bad
so-
days.
So
yeah,
maybe
but
this was a
hello,
bad day.
we went with her to the park.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, he
How
took
many
the toddler
husbands
with
are
her,
going
yeah.
with their wives and taking the kids to the park? Just let's go out to the park. That's really nice. She needs to get over her bad
He
day.
was doing that because he was
Okay, she wasn't in the car with
no,
him.
he was like, come out, let's go to the park. You need to get out of the house, woman.
Well,
He took
whatever,
her to the
either
park.
way,
I'm
he
saying
took a
maybe
kid
she was
with him.
angry for
What you said
something
is right.
else.
She probably looks at him like you can do nothing
Yeah,
right all
correct,
the time.
yeah.
Like why is that? Like why is she? Like maybe this instance was something that she was doing wrong, but what's the root of it? Why is she being like that?
Yeah.
Like is she not? I don't know.
I had no
I don't
patience
know.
for him. And okay, maybe you know, she's sleep deprived, a newborn baby. I don't know if it was a newborn, but you know what I mean? Who knows? You want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but you also want to look at what mistakes that we just let ourselves do. Are we going to think about it and try and be better? Or are we just going to, okay, well.
And hello, just think about the fact that usually in public, we all act so much nicer to our husbands. So I would have like, oh, honey, just because I know there's other people watching. The fact that she's acting like that in public. but she was very evidently angry and
No, and her body
Are you
language.
kidding?
And she's
Everyone
doing
knows
this.
what's
I
going
was
on.
watching
Everyone's
them
looking.
like,
The
what
kid
are
is crying. Everyone's turned around to look at this crying kid. Everyone knows what's going on.
And there's
she
blood.
didn't care. And she didn't care.
And
That means there's
picture him
obviously
just standing
yes,
there, nebuch,
like a nebuchol.
feeling
Yes.
so guilty and
Yeah.
horrible because it's his kid.
Exactly.
Of course,
Trying
he
to
feels
talk
so
to
bad
her.
already. He didn't
Yeah.
need more.
Yeah,
He
she
didn't
sounds
need
like
more
she has
torture.
real
But I was
anger
looking at what
towards him.
are we like 2 years old? I mean, like I don't know. She was like, I just felt so bad for this guy and whatever she was going through. So I'm just saying
But I
for
feel like
introspection.
it's the same thing, like we said with the same tips that you said with the last thing work. Like, what are you achieving? What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
What is that getting you?
Yeah.
Like, so now you're walking home with your kids lip bleeding and an angry husband. Okay, congratulations. Not at all.
What are you showing that toddler? That daddy does not know how to take care of him, and daddy is dangerous. And let's walk away from daddy. That's really what
Yeah,
she's teaching
yeah.
him. Run to mommy. Mommy's the savior. It's such a bad lesson.
Right, all around.
Not anything I'm guilty of.
Marriage mistakes you don't want to make. Okay, let's go on to story number 2. Ready, guys? Okay. Husband's at the computer, clacking away. Wife comes. Oh, she remembered something. She comes into him and she says, "Oh, did you get did the washing machine finish or something like that? Whatever." And he turns around and he said, "Ugh, you interrupted me right in the middle of my thought, and now I forget what I'm going to say. I was in the middle of typing a very important email, and I forgot what I'm going to say. You should have said, excuse me." And then, and she turns around, and he storms off, and he's typing his computer. Now, this never happens, right? So now she is brachis the whole rest of the night. She's angry the rest of the night. Can't forgive him, just like snapping at me like I didn't do it on purpose, and I'm just asking you something. I don't even know what she asked. What is the mistake? What are the mistakes here? Say, excuse me, maybe. Okay, got it. What else?
If it was the other way, we could think of a lot.
You mean if he interrupted?
No, her mistake is that she held on to it. It's okay for her to be upset when he said that. She's hurt by how he commented to her. But the minute she walked away from him, she should have thought to herself, he's in the middle of something. I probably disrupted him.
put yourself in the
why
other
ruin the rest
person's
of her
shoes.
night?
Apologize. She's gonna apologize. She's gonna say,
Yeah.
"I'm really sorry. I didn't realize you were in the
Yeah,
middle of something."
yeah.
As soon as he's done,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
mean to.
Whenever
interrupt
you're
your train
able
of
to
thought.
put yourself into other person's shoes, it
Yeah.
makes it much like all of a sudden clarity.
Okay,
with
it's
that.
true. Tell us how to do that, because this is a very, everyone says, "Oh, put
She just
yourself
said
in."
if it was
How?
us, we would have it the other way. We would have a lot of. She just said if it was us, you know what I'm saying? Meaning,
She's saying it too, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
how do you do it? How?
You have to imagine a scenario
Done
where
the
you're doing something that causes you to focus, and then all of a sudden you got to stop in the middle.
You mean
and
if
it's
you were them?
frustrating.
If you were them,
Yeah, just put yourself in that
would you have
position.
done any differently? Would you have been any better?
You don't even have to think would you have done it better, because maybe you would have, and good for you. But it's more that you can relate to the frustration they were feeling. Whether you would have reacted better or not is something you can discuss at a later date.
Right.
But right now, it's just to understand where they're coming from, that it's not personal. It wasn't a personal attack. It was just a frustration of the moment. If you can remove that personal factor, then you can wash yourself of the being angry.
It's very good. What were you saying? You were saying something else too.
I said afterwards, if she would have apologized to him and just said, "I'm really sorry."
Right. So apologizing only.
He would have, who would have.
It's very hard to apologize when you're so upset. Like you're apologizing
But
for
you
doing something
realize-
he did to you.
But after you do what Connie said, and like you realize that, you know what, he has a point. He was in the middle of something. He didn't have to lash out, but he was like, so, I would have probably got upset also. I'm sorry for doing that. It also makes him feel, when you apologize, it makes him feel less, and then he feels bad about, what he did, because like,
Then he'll apologize.
he'll feels like, no, it was me, like I shouldn't have lashed out like that, even though, like, yeah, it takes away. Yeah, when you apologize, when you're the first one to like be mevatar and like apologize, even though you really wasn't, you didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong, right?
Then
Okay,
you
good.
get like the benefit, because they.
Very true.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic. So this one is a little bit giving the benefit of the doubt, letting go, and putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Okay, third story. So they're going to a charity dinner, and the husband is late again, and she wants to get there on time. There's a photographer, and if you come early, you'll get a photograph. Okay, and they have the sushi bar. Okay, early, and he blows it. He's late. He's this. He's that. They miss the sushi bar. They miss the photographer, and she gives him the cold shoulder all night and the cold shoulder on the car on the way home. What are the mistakes here?
Everything.
Everything, like what?
She ruined her whole night.
She ruined the whole night.
She ruined her whole night.
It was sushi, Hannah.
It was
But she left
She
the
got dressed
belt.
up for the pictures.
No, but she-
Come
No,
on,
but she
it's
also
bad.
didn't have the extra weight on her. Hello, come on. Think of the
She
positive.
didn't have what?
She didn't have to
Oh,
eat
she
late
didn't
at
get
night.
fat. She didn't get fat. Okay.
So I would be thinking, I'm
Okay,
like,
what
okay.
it means, she starved herself the whole day for the sushi. Now she's starving. She's exactly.
I didn't eat a whole
She's
thing.
hangry.
No, you
Right?
don't,
What do
because
they
you
say
stop
when
at
you're
7.
hungry?
Hangry.
Yeah,
Hangry.
exactly. Seriously.
Tough. It stinks for her. I feel
Yeah.
bad. Nonetheless, she needs to grow up.
I don't know.
So how do you do? And
You turn to him and you say,
could've
tomorrow
gone to dinner
night,
after,
we are going
you know.
out to sushi.
No,
tonight,
tonight. She could have gone to dinner. She's like, you know, we missed the sushi.
You know,
Can you
we're
have it? Let's
leaving
go
and
out
we're
for
going
sushi.
Yeah.
after the event,
Yeah,
you
but
mean.
that, you know, that's making it like a date night with them too, instead of just, you know,
Mob
ruining your
scenes.
whole night. Yeah.
She put
That's
more
nice.
value on the sushi than on the
Exactly.
marriage.
And a picture.
Of course she did.
She said, in case you didn't hear, she said she put more
Sushi
value.
or husband? I'm
So
not
she
sure
has-
what the question
there
is.
you
here.
go.
Sushi and husband. Go out with husband.
Well said. So
She put
calling
more-
her out on exactly what she did. I love it.
It was very good, but you have to say it again because I don't know if there's so many people who are talking at the same
It's
time. She
so
put
funny.
more value.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not guilty of this, but
Right.
she put more value on the sushi than on her marriage.
Yeah, and that's such
You
a
know when you
heartbreak.
call someone out on something, that's so true, but we can all be like that sometimes. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's really awesome. Okay, fine. Okay, so these are all actual things. So here's the tool that we, first of all, the 3 marriage mistakes that I wanted to point out today. Number 1 is expecting perfection from our husbands. So it's kind of like, you know, the kid got the bloody lip or whatever. It's like, we had a certain picture in our mind. We're going to go. We're going to create beautiful family memories. We're going to have, you know, our kids are going to have a good time. They're going to let some steam off. Whatever pictures you had on the way to the park were ruined. That expecting perfection is one of the biggest mistakes in marriage. And it ties in with the controlling because we want our husband to do everything. You know, obviously, life would be so much perfecter. Is that a word? You know, if he did everything our way. We know the better way to do things. May not be the harmonious or the peaceful or the shalom or the close way to do things, but we know the better way to do things. So this relates to that. But this perfection, this addiction to perfection. You know, all of us want a certain thing. We set our table a certain way. We dress a certain way. You know, we have our home a certain way. We have in our kitchen, our spices are here. We all have our perfect way we like things to be. We know that, you know, they get messed up and we have to fix them up or whatever. We like it perfect and we like to script out our life. And this kind of pressure on ourselves and on our husband, no matter what happened. I mean, when I'm watching this woman who's treating her husband viciously, it's because he doesn't match. It's not only what he did, but he doesn't match her pictures of how she felt this should be. And his behavior doesn't match how she thinks he should behave. So she, you know, treats him very, very poorly in that park. I mean, I just felt sorry for the guy. He's kind of dancing, you know, she's going like this and taking the kid like that, and he's kind of like shuffling a little to the left, like he's playing basketball, you know, trying to intercept and trying to reach to her and whatever. It was very uncomfortable, you know, and like you said, if he's doing that in public, yikes, what's going on? So anyway, I give them a blessing that they should have more shalom in their marriage.
Amen.
Amen. So, okay, the second thing is the unwillingness to forgive. That it's so easy, and we'll get into this in another class at a later date, but forgiveness is really, really hard. We've been practicing it since we're 2 years old. We still don't get it right. You know, tell Sally you're sorry. Oh, you know the one, how did it go? Sally, you're stupid. Tell your sister you're sorry. Sally, I'm sorry you're stupid, right?
Right.
Okay, hello. You know, but whatever. You know, we've been practicing sorry since we're little. We never quite got it, so it's hard. I get it. There's a hurdle to get over there. However, this is the work and the maturation that brings closeness. Because she spent that whole night at the sushi, about the sushi thing. She ruined the night for herself, for him. Do you think like he came home and if a friend was saying, hey, how was that, his mom asked him, how was the dinner? How was the charity dinner? Fine, it was fine. When it could have been, it was great. It was great. They had a sushi bar. We had sushi. We missed or he could have said, we missed the sushi, but I took, my wife out for sushi after, or whatever. Then we went something, or we're going out for sushi. We're making a 2-night. Last night we missed the sushi. Tonight we're going on another date for sushi. Whatever it is, I'll make it up to you. That kind of thing. She could have engendered him doing what he did. He could have come away from that evening of missing the sushi and the photographers. I will make it up to you. And a lot of guys hate this thing where you go and you have the pictures taken at the place and whatever, and it's it says $19.99, and why is the bill $93 by the time you get the wallet size? Okay, fine, we get it. So if they had gone and he missed the photographer, she could have said, I'm really upset about it. I'll get over if you'll next Sunday go to the mall and get the pictures taken. And he'll be kind of squeezed. He kind of, whatever. I'm not saying how to manipulate and get what you want. Although there's, but I'm just saying make it okay with yourself. Work on it. But anyway, the main point here is the unwillingness to forgive. That's the mistake. So then the last one is blaming. So did you ever notice that life doesn't go the way we want it to go? You plan your day. You can't get through an hour. A phone call comes in. Email that, you had ordered something and it had to be there that day. And the email say, we're sorry, this is not going to come today, or whatever. Our days and our time and our expectations are never met. And it's very easy to blame the one person who we interact with the most, meaning, if you see the dry cleaner or whatever, you see him once a week or once every other week, whatever it is, you can be annoyed at him, but you're not every interaction, and your full dependency on everything he does and you do is here. You're 24/7 with interacting. Of course, there are going to be things. So it's very easy to blame our husband of why our life doesn't look the way it should look, or we'd want it to look. So that's the last mistake. Let me go through our sources. This is the whole thing about judging. Who are we to judge? The only one who can judge is Hashem. The Gemara says, whoever's willing to forgive and forget, Hashem deals mita k'neged mita and forgives his sins. Meaning, if your husband, when she was there and she's just so upset about the photographs, and everyone, all the photographs are up on the board, because I know they're all on the board, and everyone's going and choosing which picture they like and everything, and she's standing over there like this. My picture's not there because of you. Whatever it is, that is a level of anger that is totally understandable. But if she just throws up a prayer to Hashem, or says it to herself, I'm just going to forgive him for this. This is just in the too hard basket. I'm not going to, I'm ruining the night. I'm just going to forgive him. Then another time she'll go and she'll do something. She'll tell a teacher, you ever done this? Oh, when are you expecting? And they're like, I'm not expecting, yikes. Well, I guess that's an honest mistake, but whatever. You have these things that happen and you want to be forgiven for it. Or you purposefully, like there was 2 pieces of cake and you took the better piece of cake and you gave it to your mother, the yucky piece that had crumbs all over it or whatever. It was something stupid like this, right? And then as you're eating it like this, I should have given her the better piece of cake, or I'm giving really ridiculous examples today, but I'm just saying things that you regret, that you wished that you would be forgiven for doing stupid things. If you forgive your husband for missing the sushi, God himself, and this is what this Gemara is telling us, God himself, in Rosh Hashanah, God himself will forgive you for all the things the same size. So if you are forgiving him for something huge like missing the sushi in photographs, you'll be forgiven not for just giving the wrong piece of cake, but you'll until it adds up and scales out, and you'll be forgiven for that. So that's hopefully motivation for us. Okay. The other thing is, when you judge another person favorably, it gives you a certain sense of self-esteem and a certain sense of You feel good about yourself. And that helps to quell all of the emotions, all the anger that you might be having can be quelled from that. And the last thing is the thing that you said is that it's all from Hashem. Everything that happens to us, the guy cut us off, the traffic was terrible on Wilshire, then the smart car gets in front of you, whatever, everything is from Hashem. So if you recognize that, instead of sitting there saying the smart car's in front of us, it's because my husband's so stupid. The smart car's in front of us because God put the smart car in front of us. Now, can it be, this is where, you need somebody, a big rabbi, somebody really big to answer this question, which is, you had control before the fact of who drove, what streets you took. Should you have said, oh, by the way, I typically, is someone trying to reach in?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's a Facebooker.
It's a cool noise.
Yeah,
Whoever
cool
made that noise,
Someone
I like
on
the
Facebook
noise.
is trying to call us.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
Call the teleconference line.
Yeah, okay, good. So yeah, the number's down below. So the issue, what was I even saying? Hello, does anyone remember? This is a test. This is only a test. So, what was I saying? Yeah, okay, it's all from Hashem. Thank you, very good. Okay, so let's go to our tool for the day. The tool for the day. So this is a little bit of a challenging tool. Like all our other tools, we try and think of things that can counteract the mistakes and nip it in the bud every time. Meaning, if you think this, it will get you out of 99% of the times when you're about to make a big mistake. And that is to ask yourself, am I being too harsh? Am I being too harsh? The kid's bleeding. My dumb husband is the 5th time he's bled this week at the park. I don't know, whatever, God forbid, but whatever. Am I being too harsh? She was so harsh with him, turning the baby this way and that way, and in public. Like, in other words, you ever go and anyone been to junior high school where you go and you're about to go sit down and you put your tray down or whatever, and then there's a seat here and there's an empty seat in the middle, and there's a person here and a person here, and then they see you coming and they kind of go like that. I don't know if that ever happened to anyone. You probably are all popular in the center and the cheerleading squad and all the whatever. That wasn't me, okay? So, there's that, like the thing of you looked over and now you pretend you're walking somewhere else. I don't know if anyone's ever had that. No one's nodding. Are you all afraid to admit it?
No, it's okay. We've all seen it in the movies.
You've all seen it?
She's very popular in those mean girls.
Right, yeah.
We were never them.
So, yeah. So I had different years with different people, but whatever. But that's happened to me, okay? So that feeling where you're just you don't know what to do with yourself. And that's what she did to her husband. That's what she did to her husband. He was like, he was being watched, and he didn't. So here's the thing I want to say. If that woman had said to herself, am I being too harsh? Is this punishment fitting the crime? The answer is very likely she'd say, maybe I'm being too harsh. And she'd say, okay, go to daddy now. Go to daddy now. It's all right. Don't worry about it. She could have done anything in front of all the people who were looking down on her, looking down on the husband, all of the spectators. That would have nipped it in the bud and turned the whole thing around. Okay, fine. Am I being too harsh? Now, here's what is in it for you by asking that question. This is the tool. It's very easy to let our emotions get carry us away. And in a sense, it feels good to let our emotions get carried away. Like sometimes, you're like, well, and then you did do it. Well, you did. And, whatever, never becoming that mature, menschy person because your emotions are getting away from you. You're sitting in the car and he's just driving the wrong way. And then he goes off the freeway because he thinks you want to go left. So he does go left and he follows you and your head is still going to explode, right? Am I being too harsh? Am I being too harsh? Does the punishment fit the crime? That'll help you get out of it. What's in it for you by asking that question is, number one, is a sense of closeness to calling yourself out. You ever met somebody who's arrogant, and they just think they're whatever, and you just don't immediately kind of don't like the kind of person because they think they're great, like, oh yeah, I did that. Yeah, I got that, and I, whatever. You meet somebody who's arrogant, but somebody who thinks a lot of themselves, but say, I sometimes I think too much of myself, or something like that. You love them. You want to hug them because they own up to who they are. Their frailties, that they're human. Yeah, it's right. It's real. It's real. And so when you are saying, "Am I being too harsh?" It's kind of like you're calling out on yourself. You're like, you're being real. You're like saying, "Oh, Leah, come on, be a little nicer. Come, do you really? Do you have to torture him? Do you have to hold the grudge all night about the stupid sushi? Like she said, are you putting the sushi in front of your husband? Come on. Are you being too harsh?" The other thing is that when you use the tool, hold on a second, I'm on the wrong page. Okay. It's the perfect question to continually ask yourself to create and grow yourself into the person you always want to be. Like, we all have this ideal of, like, we want to, hopefully, and especially people in this room and people watching, whatever, we're trying to grow. We're trying to be best. We're trying to be awesome. We're trying to, improve ourselves and grow to maximize our own personal potential. That's an awesome place to be. And when you're asking yourself, am I being too harsh? It's like, it's kind of like holding up a mirror. Am I being too harsh? And being real. So it's the way to grow, the fastest way to grow us into ourselves, our best selves. So then the last point is, it's the best kind of introspection that helps us in the heat of the moment. So I want to quickly go through, we have just a couple of minutes, I want to quickly go through the thing, and then I had a Leah's mailbag that I want to cover, because I think it's an important point that's that's a little out of the box, but it's a little story. Okay, so let's look back at our stories and analyze how the wives could have been acted differently. So the family at the playground, the father gets distracted, and he's bleeding. If the woman had asked, I guess I gave the answer a little bit, but maybe you'll have different answers. If the woman had asked herself, am I being too harsh? As she's flipping around and the blood is going on her shoulder, what could have been a different outcome? What would she have done differently? Or what could she have done differently if she had asked herself that? And the reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm asking this, because when you go out into the real world and you have these questions, you'll see how it plays out. So she's there, and she's giving him the glare, whatever, right? This glare. I can't do the glare. It was really mean. Not that I'm not capable of it, but right now. So she's giving him the glare. If she had right then thought, am I being too harsh? What actions might she have done differently?
Say, oh, don't worry, these things happen. I'm so sorry. Do you want to pass me a tissue?
Right.
That.
That might be like a really high step, because at that point she's still probably angry. I think that I would see myself, if that was like my sort of situation, that I would just talk to my child in a way that I'm letting my husband know is okay. Like by saying, it's okay. I'm sure, daddy, daddy didn't, daddy was there, whatever. Daddy feels bad. Daddy didn't mean this. Like, meaning I'd comfort my child, but be comfort. It is the dad's fault.
Okay? You just say, oh, are you okay? And don't even mention the fact that it was his fault. Just focus on the fact.
Oh my God, yeah, that would be. Daddy,
just don't even mention it. Just focus on the fact, are you okay?
Wait. She's making a very good point here.
Focus on the fact to the kid, are you okay? And don't even sit
I know,
try to
but
put
the
any
father's
blame.
going to still feel really bad.
Right, but if
She's
she never
trying to make
says, oh my gosh, what did you do? Then there's no blame. It's just, you're dealing with what happened.
Hold on, everyone's
I don't know why
talking.
you have
Hold on.
permission.
Wait, you start and then you go. Say,
If she just, is sympathetic to the kid and say, oh my gosh, what happened? And doesn't even say, what did you do? Or even mention the father as, it being.
I like that.
Then it's
And she did
not
not
his
do
fault.
that. She was more about putting a
Right.
show on to make him feel badly than she
Just
was.
focus
even,
on what
it seemed
happened
like
to
she
the kid.
cared more about hurting the father than taking care of the kid.
Right.
She was just as good. In other words, he didn't watch her, but she wasn't taking care of him. Brilliant. Okay,
they
go.
say the same thing by kids. When two siblings are fighting, you don't focus. Let's say one gets hurt. You don't focus on the kid that he hit. You're supposed to focus on the child that got hurt and give him all the attention. And then the kid feels naturally bad, and he
No, that's the point.
But
the
she
kid feels naturally bad, which means as she's focusing
father-
on her child,
No,
the
he feels
father's
bad that
feeling even worse.
No.
But
he's-
let him feel guilty, but it didn't
But
come
why
from
should he
you.
feel guilty? guilty. Unless he's guilty, and then you call him out on
You
it.
have to take care of the kid anyway. You know what I'm
No,
saying? But
it's
you're
you.
supposed to lavish. Well, they say when, and then the
Well,
child
her
will
point
feel
of taking hers kind of is both. Hers is taking care of the kid, but in a way that lets the
No,
father
but
know.
she's saying the father. When you say it wasn't daddy's fault, he's like,
Okay, so maybe
obviously
that
it
wasn't
Okay,
my
maybe
fault.
not. It wasn't
Why
daddy's
it's
fault,
fault,
but
but
like,
let's
oh,
say that.
daddy,
Who
oh,
said it's my
daddy.
fault?
Reed, if he says, "Oh my gosh, I feel so bad," I turned away for a second. Let him feel bad that he did
No,
it.
but he
as
is.
long
He's
as she's
saying
not
that.
blaming him.
You don't understand. The man, according to this story, the husband was saying to her, "Oh my gosh," he was obviously saying that he understood that he did something wrong, and I think the
Letting
kid
him
knew
wallow
that
in
daddy
his-
was
in
what's
his
it
guilt.
called?
I don't-
Wait, say that sentence again.
I don't agree with letting him wallow in his guilt. Like, if it was, what I would think the nicest thing to do would be first of all, to the kid, like, are you okay? Don't worry, these things happen. The lip bleeds a lot, but I'm gonna put a tissue. It's gonna be fine. Don't get scared. I remember this happened one time to your cousin or brother or someone, and they were fine in 5 minutes. You know what? Amazing. A popsicle's amazing. And when your husband sees that you're chilled about it and the kid's chilled about
He'll
it,
apologize.
he's gonna obviously feel bad.
So
He's a
how
human
would she
being.
get to that point by saying, "Am I being too harsh?" How would that get her there? That's what we want to look at. What wake her? I
Could've
wanted
been
to wake her up.
avoided. Even if he wasn't
what'd you say?
looking at his phone, if you're gonna fall, you're gonna fall. Like,
Right, but I wanted to wake her up. She was in a zone. She was bashing this guy.
She probably was mad before at him. It sounds
Right,
like she
right.
had it in for him. Doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to have such a
Or it's
crazy
her
reaction.
personality to be like that. Like, she's blaming everybody for everything that happens in her life. Some people are just
She
like
probably
that.
must have been mad. That was a straw that broke the camel's back, and she just let him have it for everything that was pent
Piling up.
That's what it sounds
Right,
like.
so
This is not a normal reaction.
If she had thought, "Am I being too harsh?" Would that have
like,
helped?
yes,
her?
I am, and I'm still doing it because I can't.
Right.
Yeah,
If she's really at such a
exactly.
point in her,
Yeah,
if she's
she's
really
in that
feeling
mode,
so,
yeah.
I mean, it sounds extreme. She
Yeah.
was like, wouldn't let the kids see
Right,
the.
there's
It sounds like
obviously
something
other
was
She was
wrong.
like this.
Yeah,
like
something
this.
is.
What'd you say that was what?
I think she's 100% right. There were other things
It's not a normal
brewing.
reaction.
Right.
Appreciation, but yeah, I don't
Right,
know
but
what
we
side
all have,
thing.
and also, well, let's just give her the, let's say it was a newborn and the baby was 2 weeks old and she hadn't slept in a month, okay? Let's just give her the benefit of that doubt of that. We want to be able to have a tool for when we get to that place, maybe not as harsh as her.
You know, I'm really sorry. I overreacted. I'm really tired. I
love this.
Please, it wasn't. I was spur of the moment. It's.
And I'm
really-
sorry I embarrassed you in front
Yeah,
of
I'm
the whole
sorry.
party.
Right, but that would be much later. She wouldn't be saying that at the spot.
Right,
You
right.
could say
something
right
she
away,
would
I'm
say
sorry,
later.
I overreacted.
Right.
Like,
It'd be
saying
later.
what?
It wouldn't
How
be at
can
the
she
moment.
switch her mind frame
In
there?
the
Like in the
moment.
She
moment.
has
In
to
the
think.
moment.
She has to think
Right,
what
in the
we just
moment.
said.
Am I
That
too harsh?
am I too harsh? She has to first think, am I too harsh? If she gets there, then it's not so hard. The thing is, how do you remember to think, am I too harsh?
Right.
Right.
That's what
well,
the whole.
if you can try and make yourself aware of trying to think, what am I trying to achieve now? Like, because she's very consciously
being too harsh.
doing something. She's very consciously reacting. She's
Right.
not.
She's not thinking ahead. There's no introspection there.
No.
She's
Right,
just,
right, right. She's reacting, and her kids crying. Her kids are crying, and
she's freaking out.
yeah.
Basically, you have to just stop and think. If you stop for a minute, then it's good. But who's like the thing is how to get someone to
Yeah,
stop.
I don't think she's gonna stop and think. I think that later on, if she can,
Patch it up.
patch it up. Because at the moment, she's probably, she's angry. Her kid's crying.
Blood getting on her shirt.
Yeah, she just wants to get out of there. She's not starting to think of how to make it nice and pretty, and she doesn't even care about anyone else seeing it. She's not in that mode. So when she gets home, if she could
It's
redo
very
it.
intense having 2 little children.
Yeah.
And,
And
you know-
having a third child because her husband's supposed to watch
Right.
one of them.
But if you've never learned the tools,
Oh, your husband's a third
She's
child.
calling her husband
Yikes,
the third
yikes. Okay, sorry. What'd you say? What'd you say?
no, it's just, people haven't learned the tools. I think sometimes when people are in this situation, then they know they have to learn the tools. But up until that time, this poor woman didn't even know what she was getting herself into having 2 toddlers. And maybe that's why the husband was there to begin with, because he knows that she has a weakness. And maybe he was trying
See,
to
Leah,
assist
we
her.
have to. We're literally at our 12 o'clock, but this topic is like, hello. This topic is we love it. So we have more to say.
So, hold on. Right. Okay. Oh, wow. We have to. Okay.
It's
let's-
okay. Take your 2 minutes to wrap it up. because
Okay,
we
well,
have time. I think everyone's
Okay,
gonna-
maybe I'll handle the Dear Leah
Yeah, exactly,
next week.
the
But that's a
mailbag.
really good
Yeah.
one. It's about depression. A woman
Yes.
asked me about depression.
Yeah,
I have
100%.
real.
Mailbag
Okay,
will
okay, we'll
that's
do
gonna
mail.
open up a whole Pandora's box about this stuff.
Oh yeah,
so.
okay. Mailbag next week. Okay, fine. Okay, husband at the computer. If she had thought, after he snapped at her, if she had thought, "Am I being too harsh by giving him the cold shoulder?"
Or being unwilling to forgive. Can I just forgive him?
What would that have done it for her? If she had said, "Ugh, am I being too harsh? Like it was bad what he did, but not horrible." Yeah.
Or more like, even if I am too harsh, do I want to not forgive him and sit angry the rest of the night? You know what I'm saying? What he did was harsh. Yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
day
I
together.
think the other part of thinking I could forgive him and move on.
Right. So the key that we want to remember here is asking ourselves, am I being too harsh? Is hopefully we're going to try and use that tool. We're going to report on it next week. We're going to try to use that tool to shift back to, yeah, we okay?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
it's a
it's
bug.
fine,
I thought you were
yeah.
waving at me like something.
No,
like,
no, it's fine.
we're going to try and use that tool. Am I too harsh, to try and shift our actions in the moment? So when you're sitting in the car, God willing, whatever, and you're just so, am I being too harsh on him? Am I being too harsh? And the last one was going to the charity dinner. Oh, yeah, that's the whole sushi thing. But when she's sitting there, am I being too harsh for such a little thing? A good question is, am I putting my sushi in front of my marriage? So that's the end. Okay, let me give you the secret of the day. Asking ourselves if we're being too harsh is the ideal way to make sure that we aren't. And the homework is, at least one time this week, ask yourself, am I being too harsh? That's the homework. This is your host, Leah Richeimer. Thank you so much for being with the Ladies Talk Show. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. Be well.